So welcome to How to Become Your Own Heroine. My name is Heather Ashamara, and it is just such my delight to be sharing these teachings and to be feeling the Warrior Goddess community growing in such a beautiful and organic way. I really believe it's time for us as women to step up into our power, into our authenticity, into our yes for ourselves, and in supporting our sisters as well. You are whole. You are divine. You are powerful. When you hear these words, do you feel the truth of them ringing in your bones? Or do you feel the weight of self-judgment and self-doubt? Do you tell yourself that you're not good enough? Do you constantly compare yourselves to others, wish that you were something else, someplace else, someone else? You look outside of yourself for validation. If you don't love and honor yourself with every fiber of your being, if you are not your best friend, then it's time for a revolution. So I'm going to take a moment just to tell you a little bit about myself and how the Warrior Goddess movement came to pass. I first started working with women when I was in college. So I started studying earth-based spirituality, which is a spirituality that's based in the cycles of the earth and the sun, that honors life and death, that honors the light and the darkness, that honors all parts of us. And I also started studying different goddess traditions and learning about as many different goddesses as I could. It was a really rich time, and at that time I got so excited I wanted to share with other women. That's always one of my passions. And so my dear friend Autumn and I decided to teach at UC Davis. And it was something called a teach-in, and we just decided, oh, we'll open it up to a few women and just share what we're learning about. So at the first class that we had, 60 women showed up. And I was incredibly shy at the time. And Autumn and I looked at each other with these big eyes like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And she said, I'll take 30 if you take 30. I said, okay. So I took 30 women and just shared from my heart about what I was learning, what I was excited about. And I've been doing that ever since. I feel like I was drafted by the goddess and went from being someone who was very shy and introverted and really self-judgmental to someone who is still introverted, although I'm not nearly as shy as I once was, and that loves herself mostly unconditionally. I still have my moments. But in general, I'm so grateful for this being, for this feminine form, and for the knowing that I'm part of something much, much larger than myself. So welcome to the Warrior Goddess Inner Revolution. So happy to be playing with each of you. In the mythology, there's this whole concept of the hero. And the hero is someone that blasts through obstacles, that does big heroic deeds out in the world, and that usually saves a woman or two. It's usually a woman that needs to be saved somewhere. And then comes out victorious as this strong, powerful being. And in the new mythology of the heroine, I think it goes like this, that a woman steps forward to owning her power, that she goes on an inner journey to slay the demons of her own self-judgment and self-doubt, to let go of the strangled hold of comparison and shoulds, and that she emerges to deeply love herself and to bring her authenticity and her wisdom forward. So we're on the path of becoming our own heroines, of letting go of this idea that there's someone else outside that's going to save us, whether that is another person, a guru, a teacher, anybody. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't get support. It doesn't mean, I also want you to let go of the idea of, as a heroine, I have to do it all by myself, because that's an old way of thinking. As women, we best learn and grow in circles, supported by our sisters, surrounded by beings that are on the same path, that are helping us to love ourselves by learning how to love themselves. We're social creatures, and so we come together in this way to learn how to become our own heroines. So how the heck do we do this? This is why I wrote Warrior Goddess Training. And Warrior Goddess Training has been in the works for about 13 years. Let me just see if I can bring my webinar jam back so I can see you guys. Give me 1 second. I'm rebooting my little system to see if I can see my chat bar, which I can't. Okay. Oh well, but I see that there are 25 of you on, even if I can't see you. I did a program about, gosh, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 25 years ago, la la la, where I worked with women and men over a year-long process called 13 Moons. And that program transformed itself into a 13 Moons program for women that was at first just by the phone, and then became a global program, webinar and internet and phone, as well as a local program in Austin and in different pods around the planet. So the Warrior Goddess training came out of that, and really came from an experience that I had a couple years ago that was a big shattering in my life. And I do believe for us as women that sometimes the way we really get to our authenticity, we really find our own ground, is when the ground that we're used to gets pulled out from under us. And that's exactly what happened to me. So a couple years ago, my husband at the time of 10 years, who's also my business partner, my teaching partner, my beloved, moved out. And whereas it was one of those things that I knew it was coming, it just devastated me. It was a really, really difficult time. And I remember a week or so after he moved out, I was standing in my kitchen and I was weeping and just feeling this incredible sense of loss. And this little voice came. And this little voice said, "What do you miss about it?" And it was one of those voices that I've learned to pay attention to. And I stopped and I took a breath and I was like, okay, what do I miss about him? And I realized in that moment I had a choice. There was a choice point in my life. And there was a choice for me to continue to feel victimized, to feel judgmental towards myself, to feel scared, to feel overwhelmed by this big, big transformation in my life. And it's pretty ironic because that was the same week that my book, The Toltec Path of Transformation, was published. And so I was in this like, okay, girlfriend, so your book's all about change, and here you go, here's a change. So this little voice, what do you miss about him? And I thought, okay, what do I miss about him? So I started naming the things that I was missing, that I was longing for. And it was his sense of calm, his sense of peace, his unconditional love, just his presence, his grounded, rooted presence. And so I said to myself, okay, sweetheart, here you go. These are the things you want. Stop putting it outside of yourself that somebody else holds those things. What are you going to do to start creating them for yourself? What actions are you going to take to bring in the peace, the calm, the grounded love that you're longing for? It was awesome. So while I still had plenty of spectacular meltdowns, still had a lot of grieving to go through, I knew that I was on a new path to bring the things I was wanting to myself, to not look for them outside. So I started rearranging my house, I started doing different things in my world, I started meditating more, and now I feel what I was looking for outside on the inside. And I must tell you, it's really cool. So that's why I created Warrior Goddess Training. Warrior Goddess Training has 10 simple lessons within it. And I'm a really practical girl. While I am really dedicated to a spiritual path, what I'm really dedicated to is taking that spiritual path and linking it to our everyday living. So how we as women can make changes and transform ourselves. The premise of Warrior Goddess training is that by taking new actions, by bringing your focus towards yourself and getting to know who you are rather than who you think you should be, you can become your own heroine. So I want to share a couple tips today from the book. And look, where is it? Oh, there it is, Warrior Goddess Training. It's now available, but I'm going to invite you to be part of a launch on September 6th. I'll talk more about that in a moment. So first exercise that I want to share, and I just flipped the book open last night and picked a couple of exercises. The first one is this. It's from the Purify Yourself chapter. And here's the task, and I'll talk about what the heck it means. Make a commitment to stop judging yourself. Keep your awareness strong. Imagine the judge tracking mud into your temple and send it outside. Know that you may do this a couple hundred times a day. Be diligent in not feeding your judge. So this is about a new type of warrior energy. What supported me in my transformation was starting to think of myself as a temple, as a sacred, beautiful temple, and recognizing that in a lot of ways I had neglected my temple. I had neglected myself, my body, my mind, emotions, spirit, physical body, and that there were some ways that the temple was run down, that it hadn't been really nourished. That instead of caring for my own temple, I'd been worrying about other people's temples. How are they doing? Are they okay? And so when I visualize I am a temple, and no matter how run down or neglected this temple is, all I have to do is bring my presence back to it, and it'll start the process of transformation. And so if you imagine yourself as a temple, anytime you judge yourself or compare yourself or think you should be somebody else, you're tracking mud into the temple. You're opening the door and saying, come on, go ahead, bring your messiness. What we can do, and it's not about going, no, you are not allowed to enter, I don't believe in you, oh, because that doesn't work as well. When we just go into defense, then we are holding a defensive posture. We tighten up our bodies. We feel like we have to protect ourselves. And that's a different warrior energy. I want us to cultivate warrior goddess energy, which is about saying, no, sweetheart, you can't enter. No. And that we're clear, that we're firm, but that we do so with love. We understand that there's a reason that our judge was created. Our judge was created because we believed it was helping to protect us or to make us better people. Okay? It's not working. We can do far more transformation in our lives by bringing in the qualities of compassion and love rather than judgment and fear. And so honor your temple by saying no to your judge over and over again. And with love, no. We're not going down that path. No, you're not entering this temple. And just know that this is a practice. You'll be doing this over and over and over again. Remember, you were trained to be in a particular way as a woman. And that's often to please others, to put everybody else before you, to put yourself last. So by holding this commitment to yourself, to begin to make a new choice, to not just let the judge talk, to not just let your fear dictate your next action, but to start to choose where do you want to put your energy, where do you want to put your resources. And here's how you can do that. So another chapter. This is from Energize Your Sexuality and Creativity, Lesson 5. It's a really fun chapter. So this is about bitty baby steps and being creative. So one of the ways that we access our goddess energy and blend it with our warrior energy is by being incredibly creative in our lives. And again, we get to practice being creative. So what we can do is start to brainstorm creative ways to be in relationship with the issues, obstacles, stumbling areas of our life. So instead of going, oh, I shouldn't have this problem, why are they doing this to me? We start going, okay, a great opportunity for me to be more creative in my life. So what you do, it's really simple. You come up with an issue, a problem that you're working with, and then start brainstorming at least 5 different creative solutions and make them totally wacky. That's a fun part. You can do some creative solutions that are doable, but what really helps us blast our brain open, rewire our brain to more creative problem solving that's fun and that's workable, is by creating outrageous solutions as well as practical solutions. So, and the other thing, I'm just reminded by the book, is don't edit, when you're brainstorming, you're brainstorming. So whatever the issue is that you're working with, just go 5 creative solutions, go. I had a woman friend who was challenged in a relationship that she was in and feeling really frustrated by her home situation and what was going on. And she started coming up with creative solutions. And creative solutions were like, have my 3 best friends move into the house with me, go on a year-long backpack trip around the world, move to Austin, Texas in the middle of the summer. So those were just some of the crazy ones. And what's fun is that she ended up moving to Austin and completely changing and transforming her life. And she is a much happier warrior goddess today. And that came from some creative brainstorming of things that she originally was like, there's no way I'm doing any of these things. But in fact, she really learned to listen to herself and to act on the one that changed everything. So I want to share a couple things with you. I have to go plug my computer in. So let's see if we can do this. 1, share. Yes. Okay, so this is the book page, and I want to just have you see this video. You can't see the picture right now, but right there is an amazing video that at the end of this broadcast I'm going to share where you can get that. And here are the 10 different chapters for Warrior Goddess. So that is the book. And you can order it now. And I want to invite you, if you can't wait, to go ahead and order it now. But if you can wait, or if you want to order a book now and order a book later, that I'm offering something really spectacular, which is the Warrior Goddess Boot Camp. You'll get it even if you buy the book today. But one of the things that we're doing is helping to create a movement for women to step into their warrior goddess energy. And to create that movement means getting the word out for women, 1, to buy the book, and 2, to continue to be part of the community. Because as women, we really, really need support. So on September 6th, we're doing a book launch. And for everybody that buys the book, I'm offering a free 11-day Warrior Goddess Boot Camp. Again, as I said earlier, as women, we really need support. To be our own heroine doesn't mean to do it on our own. That's the old model. The new model is to gather with our sisters who are also on the same path and to support each other. So that's part of what Warrior Goddess Boot Camp is. It's a circle of inspiration, of support, and some loving butt kicking, because we all need our butts kicked every once in a while. What you'll get is daily meditations, doable action steps, and sacred play that will help you rewire to saying yes to yourself 100%. So the Warrior Goddess Bootcamp starts September 10th. And if you buy the book, if you can hold and buy it on September 6th, that would be fabulous. And we'll start the bootcamp on the 10th. I love the word bootcamp because we're reclaiming language. You know, part of what we're doing as women is we're reclaiming the feminine and letting go of the idea that the feminine means weak. Just saw a beautiful ad about a director who had women come up, and she said, okay, run like a girl. And these different people were like, ah! And she went through this whole thing of like, throw like a girl, do this like a girl. And everybody was doing this like, ah. And at the end she said, she brought them all in, she goes, so is that really the way you run? Is that really the way you throw? And you could see the awareness coming into their eyes of realizing that they're following a stereotype of girls that's not serving anybody, and that's not true. And so she had them redo their movements the way they would really do it. And to watch the power come back into them of like, I'm going to throw like me. I'm going to run like myself. We're in this process, all of us, of shedding a lot of lies, of letting go of a lot of different stories that don't serve us. And that's what part of boot camp is about. It's a rewiring so that every day we learn to take new actions to remind us of our power, to remind us of our authenticity, to remind us of the woman we were meant to be. So I hope that you come play with me for those 10 days of boot camp. And before then, I'm going to start sending out daily inspiration as we step up to our countdown, because we all need inspiration. And here's another way that you can get inspiration. I love that I can share this. Isn't this the coolest thing ever? So there's the Warrior Goddess. I want to introduce you to the Warrior Goddess Women community. So this is our Facebook page, and the new video that I'm talking about is loaded on the Warrior Goddess page. So at the end of this broadcast, I invite you to go straight to Facebook, to the Warrior Goddess page, and to like this video. I mean, sort of like the page and to watch the video. The video is stunning. And our dear sister Coral has been posting all these gorgeous, gorgeous things, helping to find beautiful pictures, as well as my sister Christy and myself. So lots of beauty in this page. So come like it. And then the last thing that I want to share, well, it's not the last thing, it's one of the last things. Let me see again if I can. Okay. As part of this Warrior Goddess revolution, we learn how to take new actions, to see ourselves in new light. And those old stories that I was talking about, they're not just our stories. And this is why it's really important for us to get good guidance. Because they're not only our stories, they're also the stories of our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, and they're stories of a lot of heaviness, struggle, and repression that has been passed down to us through the ages. Now, we're really blessed to live in a time where women have more freedom than we ever have. And what I've noticed is that for a lot of us, the external freedom hasn't changed the internal jail that we live in, the ways that we compare, judge, separate ourselves. I remember reading Sheryl Sandberg, who's the author of a book called Lean In, and the COO, I think is her term, of Facebook. So highly, highly successful woman. And she went and started interviewing a lot of very successful women around the world and discovered that most women, we feel like frauds if we get successful, if we're doing well in our lives. or we feel like we shouldn't be as happy as we are. That was a real eye-opener for me to read her book and for all to recognize that so many of us, and we think, oh, well, she's made it, she's not having any problems. Well, yeah, as a woman, she probably is because of the old programming. So Warrior Goddess training is designed to take you step by step through these different lessons to unweave the old stories, the old programming. Because once we let go of those stories, and we have to first name what they are, what arises is who we are. What arises is our truth. What arises is our love. What arises is our authenticity. That comes up naturally. So Warrior Goddess training is about shedding the old skins that don't serve us and getting the guidance and support to do so, step by step. We do that by taking new actions over and over again. And I always support myself and other women that to take the actions, do little things, change little things in your life. Look at, in my day-to-day, what could nourish me more? I like to think about it as ask yourself better questions. And a better question instead of why isn't this working, or why can't I do this right, or why are they being so mean to me, or why can't I stop judging myself? Those aren't helpful questions. So good questions are, how can I nourish myself more? What would a warrior goddess do in this situation? What's my next tiny action step? And know that as we go through life, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have challenges. I call those times in my life pixie splat, when I just face plant and go into huge self-doubt and think I'm not doing anything right and wish I was somebody else. I don't wish that too much. But I do wish I made different decisions sometimes. And when I have the pixie splats, I've just learned to not take it seriously, to just go, oh, I'm in a pixie splat, and to not believe what I'm telling myself because I know it's not true. And sometimes the voices are really loud. But what I'll do is I'll reach out to some of my friends and I'll say, I'm in pixie splat, I need some lovin'. I'll sit with myself and I'll say, hey, sweetie, I know you're having a rough time, but it's going to be okay. You're going to get through this. And I do. We do get through our hard times, and the less we judge ourselves, the more we can bring our compassion to ourselves, the more we can giggle at our splats, the more that we can love ourselves through our struggles, the more we can bring that sweet goddess unconditional love energy to ourselves, the more joy we're going to have in our lives. I've been really blessed throughout my life to have some incredible teachers. My first teacher, Vicki Noble, and Carolyn Fallingstar, two incredible women shamanic teachers and healers. Peggy Dillon was another one of my early mentors, really beautiful woman who's the mama of the firewalking movement. Anna Forrest, who is the creatress of Forest Yoga and a fierce goddess of her own. And my dear friend and teaching partner, Don Miguel Ruiz, who is the author of The Four Agreements, has also been a huge influence. So the Warrior Goddess path brings together earth-based spirituality, Toltec shamanism, and as well as a sprinkle of Buddhism, since I was raised in Asia, and find that the Buddhist teachings are really, really powerful. It's a smorgasbord of really incredible teachings, because my motto is whatever works. And so I want to honor my teachers and also share with you that we are so blessed because this next round of Warrior Goddess training, intensive, it starts in the fall. It's a 3-month intensive. I'm being joined by two of my favorite women, Anna Forrest and Peggy Dillon, and my dear sister, Stephanie Bennett Vogt, who's the author of Your Spacious Self, and an incredible goddess of purifying and clearing out space inside and out. My dear, dear friend, Ginny Gentry, and a beautiful artist and friend, Emily Greaves, who lives in Teotihuacan, Mexico. All of these women and more are going to be joining me for this upcoming 3-month intensive. That's October, November, and December. So I want to share a little bit about that and also this crazy, wonderful special that we're offering just for you. So, share. So, Warrior Goddess page, Warrior Goddess training. So, warriorgoddess.com is a website to go check out, and there's a tab called Coming Soon, which talks about boot camp and the training. And then the training, 3-month program, to give you the tools, support, and inspiration to become fully you. And that's my commitment. My commitment is around helping you become you. I'm not interested in creating women that are following what they think they should be, even if it's spiritual. I want you to be you 100%. And to let go of everything that's not you, to let the beauty of you shine through. So there's 3 lessons. We'll have a lesson each month, which is a really beautiful way to create a container of transformation. So the first lesson, first month, October, is about committing to yourself. The second lesson is about learning how to align with life. And when we align with life, we align with the way things are, not the way things should be. And we move into what I call circular living. So we step out of linear living, which is the old mode, and we come back into living within the cycles. So we work with the seasons, we work with the moon, and we also learn how to ride the waves of life with great joy. The third lesson in December is around purifying your vessel, and December is a perfect time to do this because there's so many challenges in December. But our first 2 lessons help us then really come to, what do I need to clean inside this being that I am? How to clear out all the beliefs, stories, fears, and the general gunk that's clogging our systems. So Warrior Goddess training, it includes 2 live online teaching webinars a month and 2 live empowerment, which are group coaching sessions a month. And the way that I work this is that I teach Wednesday evenings and Thursday afternoons. And so for those of you that cannot do evenings or are in Europe or Asia, the time zone for Thursdays works way better for you, because that'll be Thursday evening for you instead of in the middle of the morning. Everything's also recorded. So even if you can't make the sessions live, you can get the recordings. Every week there'll also be writings, inspiration, and guidance. There'll be video teachings from the other women I talked about, Anna Forrest, Stephanie, Bennett Vogt, Peggy Dillon, Ginny Gentry, Emily, and others. There'll be a private website with video and audio recordings of all the classes, and also tools. This is one of the great thing about Warrior Goddess training is every month you get a tool, a specific thing to either create or to do. And they're simple. And I think about Warrior Goddess training is you can tap into at whatever level. Some women go really, really deep, and some women just use it as inspiration when they have time. But because everything's recorded and on the web, you get to pace yourself. Within the private Warrior Goddess training community, there will be forums to share inspiration, success, and to connect with women all over the world. So here are the dates, and this again is available at warriorgoddess.com, Warrior Goddess Training. And if you sign up now, so here's the level for level 1. You sign up now, and if you pay in full, it's only $275 or $99 a month if you want to do via subscription. That makes it easy. Then I'm also going to throw in for the first 20 women that register a free session. You'll get a free half-hour session with me if you're one of the first 20 women to sign up for the program. Very exciting. I'm going to share the link with you in a minute, how to do that directly. And if you want to go deeper, there's also another crazy special bonus, which is that I'm doing 3 live Warrior Goddess training intensives in Austin, Texas, where I live. And so for anybody that wants to join those intensives, you'll get 3 full-day intensives for only $100 more. I love that. So with the intensives, $375 is paid in full, or only $133 a month for 3 months. And again, if you're one of the first 20 women that register, you'll also get a free session with me so that we can go deeper with exploring how you can personally become the warrior goddess that you want to be. So let me share. Oh, maybe I can't share the link because I can't get into the access. Nope. Oh well. So Christy, if you can make that live, I don't know if you can see your broadcast thingamabobber or not, but if you can go ahead to the offerings and put that up, that would be great. So if you guys are able to see on your chat bar on the right, upper side right, there's a little thing that I think it says offerings. If you click on that, it'll show you the URL to directly go to the Warrior Goddess training for that 3-month intensive. And if it's not, all you have to do is go to warriorgoddess.com and you'll be able to click through to find the Warrior Goddess training page. So my dear sisters, I hope that you will go and like our Facebook page, become part of the Warrior Goddess community, and then share that page with your friends. We want to get as many women as we can to help remember who they are, to become more fully yes themselves. Because the more sisters that are stepping onto this path of transformation, the more support we have, the more energy there is, and the more we're going to transform the planet. And if you want to go deeper, I would love to work with you during the Warrior Goddess Training Intensive, which starts October and runs for 3 months. And again, first 20 women will get a free session with me. And I really love working with women in this way and being able to go deep together. And there's something so rich about being part of a dedicated circle that's doing the same work every month. I know that was a profound difference in my life when I was working and apprenticing with Don Miguel. We had a really small group in Sacramento and Davis, where I was living at the time. And there was the small circle, but there was also just the general big Toltec community that was around the world. And I was able to do things. There was a way that just having the energetic of the group, when we would make a decision as a group to do something, I would find I could do it. Whereas before, if I tried to do it on myself, I wasn't able to. So that was when I really learned the power of a circle. And working with Vicki and Carolyn, I know that the energetic of women coming together is magnificent. So if you're ready to say yes to yourself, if you're ready to commit to putting yourself first for a change, and knowing that putting yourself first is going to benefit everybody around you, then please join me. Come play. Come find the woman that you were meant to be. I send you all my love. Thanks so much for joining me in this broadcast with all of its little glitches and finds, but we stuck with it. And that's what we can do as women, is stick with ourselves, stick with each other, and really support ourselves in becoming warrior goddesses in our own right, and being the quirky, wonderful, beautiful, sassy, powerful, fun women that we are, whatever that looks like for us. I send you all my love. Bye-bye.